Hello everyone, Satkeval Sahib. I Prashant Chauhan. I work in Paramguru Pathshala English Medium School, Sarsa. Today I am going to continue chapter 2nd of OCM Standard 12th Commerce Principles of Management. Topics will be covered under this presentation are importance and thoughts of management. There are three thoughts of the management are there by the different gurus. Let's start with the importance. Here, principles of management provides a vision to managerial behavior and highly affects the management. So your main vision of this principle is to find out the different of the things which is directly connected to management. That is firstly related to managerial behavior, how they will work with their own work, and also highly affects the management. Affection towards the management is must be at the top level. So directly we can say managers are using it for the achievement of goals. Right? Everywhere in every management, these principles of management are used to achieve or to satisfy the goals which is decided in advance, and these principles direct or give the direction, right, to the managers for the decision making. So it is also important for the decision making because every time this top level management are making the decisions of the different related and different type of the things which is very important to the business. So it will direct to the manager. So these principles of management plays a key role or a vital role, a main role in the unit. So we have to decide which type of the principles of management related things we have to achieve, we have to take in our business depends. So let's take the information about this importance. The first one, increase in managerial efficiency. Repetitive things are there, right? But we have to looking after that because as per the part of the syllabus. See, we already discussed these efficiency related points. Principle of management is providing, here the point is related to principle of management, right? So it is providing guidelines, right? Some of the extra things to the managers to perform tasks or any type of the work in different situation. So if you have the bunch of these principles of management, we will look after all the principles of management, right? It's a bunch of principles of management, lots of principle of management are there, and we have to take in our routine life also. So here directly we can say the manager will take the benefit of this principles of management in different tasks in different situation. So due to which important is there, there are different type of the improvements required in the functioning of a business unit. So you will able to increase or improve your work, your function by using this implementation, using these principles, and then after you have to implement in the routine work. And also gain in managerial efficiency is also same. So managerial efficiency, that means that capacity will increase by using this principle of management. Next one, maximum usage and effective administrative of resources. Also this point was discussed in the first chapter, right? That is a maximum usage of the different thing, that is the resources, and here administrative resources are there, that resources must be administrative way. So mostly availability of the human and physical resources are limited. In economics you also know that one, this point was already covered in standard 11. But availability of the human and physical resources are limited. See, in our country human resources are in maximum level, but some of the physical resources are there, that is not in a maximum level. So it is unavoidable to make its maximum usage. Whenever you want to utilize you can, right? But sometimes it is not available easily. So here meaning of the word maximum, see I use the word maximum usage, right? The meaning of the word maximum is that to make usage of the resources through principles of management. Maximum, that means you're not at the highest level, but at the principle of level of management, whereas they can get maximum benefit with minimum costing. That is the main thing, and that is the thing of the effective and efficiency, right? Effective and efficiency, that's the two good word for the management, right? That is capacity and minimum cost, right? So they will get the benefit at the minimum cost and maximum benefit. Next one, helpful for scientific and logical decisions. See, decisions should be always based on facts, thoughtfulness, objectives, and justifiable. Whenever you are taking any decisions, or you will take any decision in future, right, related to your business, as per this particular data, specific data, it should be always on facts. Do not take decision directly without the base. Right? Some of the thoughtfulness and objectives are at the center. Moreover, decisions should be timely. Take the decisions on time basis, and also reality based. See, sometimes it's not simple. Simply you can utilize a reality based, but it is important, and also effective on time. So management principles provide a key role for taking appropriate decision. Once again, using management principles, decisions can be made appropriately, right? Whenever need arise, you can utilize, but it should be taken on the or made on the appropriation level or appropriatively. Also timely, on the time basis. See, repetitive things are there. Do not hesitate to continue with this particular, but some of the parts of these chapters are related to the first chapter, so we'll get the same type of the information. So whereas they can get in maximum benefit with minimum costing, that is also repeated, and then after timely, without partiality and unbiased. See, it is a new thing for this chapter. So whenever this type of the decisions are there, logically you can say it should be taken without partiality and also unbiased. Sometimes it happens that personal bias is there, but it is not important. Okay, every time it is used here. We have to use unbiased. Next one, to cope up with the changing business environment. Normally, management principles are an ordinary guide. It is a common thing, but management principles are necessary to meet business environment in changing circumstances. A separate chapter is there for the business environment. At the time we discussed, but it is very important to change the particular business environment. So these principles are very important to change the environment as per the need. That is the business environment. Next one, to fulfill social responsibility. That is not new for you. Once again, it is a repetitive thing. Business is an indivisible part of the community. We start our business in the society, that we take the support from the society, right? We are taking all the type of the work from the society. So it is our moral duty to fulfill the responsibility. That is the objective of first chapter last year OCM. So here management is important, but simply profit is considered as the aim of the business, but it is not the only aim. But we should looking after the other related objectives and goals are too, targets are there. So development and progress of the society are also aims of the business unit. We have to develop our society from where we get the highest benefit, that is the monetary level. Right? So we have to give something to the society. By effective implementation of management principles, business unit can easily achieve aim of social responsibility. So first of all, try to get the support from the local people. Try to give employment to them, give more and more opportunity to them, so they will not go outside of your particular area, right? So they will always trying to fulfill your aim, that is your business objectives. Then after you have to fulfill their aims, right? It's simple. And last one, useful for research, training and development. R&D, highest expenses behind that one in different companies. So management principles are main part of management thoughts. Only by using the management principles, task of training, education and development is possible. So when you will put these principles into practice, your training related information, that means if you want to give more and more training to your employee, you can, because there is a principles, right? Directly management is there, but some of the principles are important. As a part of studies, as a part of the routine life, you are not maybe use this one, right? But maybe in a sense of the management decision making, this is important. So implementing and using management principles. So simply, research is important for that. Like now aptitude tests. See, I told you training, education and development is possible with the help of the principle of management. So here aptitude tests are taken for appointments in various business units. A discussion is there, detailed discussion is there in the staffing chapter, right? So these aptitude tests are prepared through research and by implementing and using management principles through which appropriate employees are appointed. Right? So this is the other thing. Then I told you regarding the research and development in the field of the production. But here also some of the research are there, because we are in need of that type of the person who are going to appointed within short time period. It must be appropriate for the job, right? So using management principle, right, you can make new and new approaches to this different test. So that is the end of the importance. Next point, that is the management thoughts, that is thoughts of management. So management thoughts are outcome of researches, studies and results in the field of management. Different gurus, experts and management experts give the different type of the researches and studies behind that one. So that outcome is through different researches in the field of the our management. Every thought represents its unique observation. When one thought will come, it has its own observation, unique observation, and you know that every person is a unique. Okay, so whatever the observation will come from the uniqueness, The observation must be unique. So it presents unique observation. Many management gurus have represented different principles and by their separate opinions. It is depend upon their right. Their opinions are there. Here it is this one. Right? That is main opinions are there. So they are using always there or giving their opinions for the better management run. So many branches and sub branches developed because lots of different have presented their own thoughts. So branches and sub branches are adopted, right? So it is called thoughts or approaches of management. So if one mark question is then, alright, so then you can easily write down what is the thoughts. One time it was asked in the examination what is the meaning of the thoughts of management, right? So here it is the meaning, right? The different principle have given by the different researchers, that is gurus, right? Have their separate opinions, and then after it will concluded with the many branches and sub branches, the development done, right? Because conclusion before that one development is done. So it is called thoughts and approaches of management. Let's start with the first thought. That is the thought of classical theory, very old, ancient, right? In social language we can say. So here the thoughts of management presented till the 19th century, end of the 19th century, is known as thoughts of classical theory, right? Also one more question, which thoughts are known as the classical theory, that is which is presented till the end of the 19th century. Main promoters, those who started this and promote these particular thoughts, main promoters of the thoughts of classical theory are Frederick Taylor, Max Weber, Gilbreth, Henry Grant and Henry Fayol, right? If you are not able to remember this name, just look after the only second name of them, Taylor, Weber, right? Gilbert, Grant and Fayol, right? And Taylor and Fayol is well known, and the theories are also there in our this chapter, so it will be easy to remember. Taylor's contribution in the thoughts of classical theory is very important, right? His contribution is this theory is very important. He gave the lots of basics and classics information in this one, right? Scientific management principles presented by Taylor also exist into thoughts of classical theory of management. Even today we are taking the benefit of that scientific principles in our routine, and mostly the management are taking the benefit in the particular field of the management. It is there in this chapter 2, right? Principles of scientific management, right? There are total 8 principles are there, very important principles are there, huh? Also scientific management favors different type of the principles. Before that, one more thing I want to say, that scientific management principle presented by Frederick Taylor, right? It was also exist into the thoughts of classical theory of management today, but some of the information which is given by him, right, favors scientific principles by time and motion study instead of traditional methods. See, that time and motion study is also important for the routine production, right? So we have to looking after that, and we will discuss later on in this chapter 2. Main contribution of scientific management, who gave that own contribution, right? So see, through this particular contribution, specialization, progressive wage system, responsibility, scientific distribution of task, right? Directly not given work to the different employees. It is depend on the scientific distribution, right? So that are the thing, main distribution or contribution from this level. Also contribution of Henry Fayol in thoughts of classical theory is significant, and he significantly contributed to thoughts of management by presenting general principles of management. So 14 general principles are also there in this chapter. Fayol's general principles, it is well known and we will study, right? So he also contributed more. He decided levels of different tasks in business unit and try to decide limits of the task. Don't give more burden to the employees in the sense of the different tasks. So to perform a managerial duty at different level, he also provided universal principle of management as guidelines, right? So he also provided some of the information regarding that one, right? That is the universal principle of guidelines, and the same type of the principle, uniformity is there. So apart from this, there is a contribution of Max Weber is there, right? We already discussed, means I gave the name of that guru, right? Into the thoughts of classical theory till the end of the 19th century. Formats and the size started to change due to the industrial revolution. Change is the part of the business. So because of industrial revolution, change arise. So as a result, need for changes are there, and in it arise due to the some limitations of the classical theory thoughts. That is the importance of financial motivation increased, and less important or importance to the human approach. Here no importance was given to the human approach, you know that one. And at that time, in the time era of the 19th century, right, totally exploitation, right? And also some of the informal relations were there in the business. So that's why some of the other information required, and we started next point because of this limitation. So at that time we choose the second thought, that is the neoclassical thought after the classical thought. And under that, to remove some of the limitations of the thoughts of classical theory, some experts made changes and established new approaches, and that called, or which is called, thoughts of neoclassical theory. No, any one more question will be asked in the examination, but keep in mind, okay, what is, if it question is there, what is neoclassical theory? So simple, thoughts of theory, that is changes and established new approaches because of limitations of the classical theory, right? In the start of the 20th century, right, end of the 19th century and the start of the 20th century. Before one thing I want to say you, that new approach was started, right, after industrial revolution. Format of units industries was changed, already discussed in the last point, but a need was arise for new kind of management. That is the main thing for neoclassical, right? Because the change is there because of the industrial revolution there. So in the start of the 20th century, Australian industrialist, see, Australian industrialist, that is the psychologist, he was psychologist. So Australian industrial psychologist Alton Mayo, his theory of Hawthorne gave a new birth to behavior oriented thought. See, here in the center human being is there, human behavior is there, right? Keep in mind the name, Australian industrial psychologist Alton Mayo. So you can say Alton Mayo is the promoter of this thought, he promote this particular thought. That's why it is also known as thoughts of Alton neoclassical theory. So thoughts of Alton Mayo, or thoughts of the neoclassical theory. So thoughts of neoclassical theory emphasizes mostly upon behavior approach and group behavior for management. So if you are doing work in the particular field, right, at that time this approach is very important. Okay, moving to the next point, some of the elements of the chapter. So additions were made in the thoughts to neoclassical, like informal organization, human behavior, human relations, inspiration. See, it was not there in the classical theory, right? Classical theory, under that one limitation we discuss about the informal relations. So here the some of the relations are that as human relations, and inspiration, that is related to motivation, new thought, that is motivation, right? It is elected, that is taken. Next point, contributors in these thoughts. Different contributors gave their own theory in this one, so, including Alton Mayo, Hertzberg, Francis Descartes, Chris Argyris, McGregor, one of the good, and also Maslow. Maslow's theory is there in our syllabus. Abraham Maslow, right? His theory is there in our syllabus. So we will discuss at that time. And McGregor's theory is also very good for the human related things. So that are the contributors. So in branches of the thoughts of neoclassical, right, some of the information, that is human relations or human behavior related, social mechanism thought and social arrangement thought are main. If one more question is that which are the main part or which are the relations between the humans are required, so that is social mechanism and social management, social arrangement, right? So human behavior is like that. Whenever you are going to discuss, whenever we are taking the benefit of these thoughts, and this particular sentence is important. Management is an art of getting word from others, already discussed, but as Professor Urvik said, the important sentence, you manage your mind will manage rest of all. But before that, keep in mind, you manage your mind, you have to manage your mind, it is the duty of the management, right, as per proper Urvik. So man will manage everything. So likewise, employee or any person is having an important place in unit. Don't forget, employees, staff, they are the limbs, right? We already discussed in the chapter first. So we have to looking after. Since the management is being done by a person, management study becomes very important, right? That is related to interhuman relations. So main point of the management task is of human behavior and human relations. Repeatedly things are there, human behavior, human relations, that is at the center in neoclassical theory. Right? So it is emphasizes on job satisfaction and increasing efficiency of people. That is psychological observations are there. Right? So you can easily understand with the help of job satisfaction, and also it increase the efficiency of people, that is on the basis of psychological observation. So concept like interhuman relations, right, motivation, leadership, information, that is important also nowadays. So that is communication process and disposal of industrial disputes. Some of the small conflicts are there. That is totally behavior related thoughts, right? So all these are important in the neoclassical theory, and since this approach is psychological, it seems that economic parameter has been neglected. So here no economical parameters are not at the center, because human behavior is at the center. And so some writers logically say that human relations cannot be maintained, right, at the cost of the productivity. So it is depend upon their ideology, but it is good that they are not accepting this type of the thoughts. But human relation cannot be maintained and at the cost of productivity, because we are doing a business. So that is the limitation. Keep in mind, human relations cannot be maintained. Next and last one, that is the last thought. We can say that thoughts of the modern management at present. Very small information about this one. A change was occurred in the format of the industry and business after 1960. So as a result, the need of the speed approach of the management will arise, because we want to do the work, right? That is a special one. The special approach is also there. So need of special approach of management arise. And as management is not confining to only business unit, that is, we can say management is not only confined, that is not restriction in certain limits, that only business unit, right? At that time the special professional class of management were emerged. So we can say where advocacy, that is public support to a different type of things related to idea, action, your work, right? So in these thoughts for psychology, social studies, nowadays social sciences, the statistics, mathematics, and computer with IT, right? So all these are made or were made at that time. Advocacy was there. So management gurus, different experts like Kunch Adenal, George Terry, right, Peter F. Drucker, William Auchi, and C.K. Prahlad, they have also contributed in this thought. So also information are there, right? But here no information in related to the different gurus. So that is the end of our session. In next session we'll discuss about the principles of scientific management, and it is very important for the every business unit, right? There are different 8 right, management related approaches are there under this scientific. Thank you very much.